Hello, everybody, and welcome back to RollPlay Live, Court of Swords. Thus begins Chapter 2 of today's adventure. We stand outside the City of Brass, amidst the corpse of a pile of its Brass City warriors, laying strewn, some armless, some legless, a scene of carnage. And amidst the bodies, the still smoldering corpse of a hideous troll, a couple of ogres, and the body of a stone giant lies broken in the sand. You, however, survived that battle, along with the Commander Farsad, a member of the Harissa, the Immortals Guard. He is in a state of now cowed fear, both of you and of the overall situation. And I think we fade in, not immediately on him, like still where he was, but he's sitting on some debris, and he's got his head in his hands. He's a man undone. Where is everybody else? This is in the moments after the battle. You've had a chance to recover your equipment. Are you like off to one side talking? Is somebody talking to him? Is anyone tending to him? Are you pouting?
I'm doing my own thing. But
Okay, what are you doing?
I have the beetle out in the jar, and I'm standing and putting it like literally on the stone giant's body and seeing if the beetle's like crawling towards it in the glass, or if he's paying any attention to it.
The beetle, you haven't looked at it in a little while, and so when you take it out, it lies unmoving in the jar. It just sits there at the bottom.
Oh, I shake the jar
it.
a
There's
little
like
bit.
a metallic tink 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 as you like rattle it around. It doesn't seem to move.
Does the jar? I assume it's perfectly sealed on the top.
So when were mason jars invented?
Yeah.
Right. Like,
does it have? It has some.
It would be no. I think the way you would have had to have sealed it would be there would be like a cork in the jar, and then you would have You could have wax sealed the cork if you really wanted it to be sealed.
Yeah.
So it's a bottle more than a jar. So it's like a big fat bottle. It makes the world go round. So you've got a bottle with
bottle beetle.
So you've got this beetle in the bottle, and
Yeah.
there's a cork in the bottle with the beetle in it, and you could have waxed the thing to really seal it, but did you?
No.
Okay, so it's just corked. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's permeable in the way that cork is, but it's pretty relatively airtight. That's why we use corks to seal like wine.
I'm starting to sound like a Dr. Seuss thing. There's a
Yeah.
beetle in the bottle with the bottle.
Yeah, but the bottle is
beetle
corked.
yeah. I'll
Did you seal the beetle bottle?
like let some air in, but I'm not taking the
Okay,
cork all
so
the way
you
off.
Pop it open. The beetle doesn't move.
Spit on it. No.
I go and take a knife and like cut some of the ogre flesh out and like just drop it in there and take the cork off completely.
Gross. Okay, so you cork it, walk over and take a little chunk off and open the bottle and drop it in there, and it lands with a splat. Close it. Yeah, the beetle doesn't react. It gets some blood on it, but
It's still completely
it's inert.
motionless?
Yeah, it might be dead.
Oh, it's not dead.
I said it might be dead. It looks like a bag of holding.
It's unclear whether or not
Can
the
I
beetle's dead.
so could I cast an illusion inside of the bottle?
Yeah, sure.
I cast some sort of magic. Not necessarily in the form of anything. I just want magic inside
Just
the bottle.
some lights that move around.
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Right.
Does it do anything?
No, it doesn't respond.
I start shaking it violently.
Okay. Yeah, just like ting, 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 bounces off the inside of the bottle, and then you look at it, and it's just lying there upside down.
With ogre meat all over
Ogre
it.
meat. Yeah, a little ogre chunk flopping around in there.
Okay.
What a bizarre thing.
This is why your parents would never let you get that cat you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. Do I have anything else?
You think about it. So
Yeah,
while that's
yeah.
happening, while the grand experiment, Ramus, what are you doing?
I'm using medicine to tend to the guy's wounds.
Okay, yeah, he's pretty checked out, but you're making sure that he's got like a
He's not bleeding out or anything.
yeah, exactly. He's got like a couple of broken ribs from a giant smack.
Good. It's good you're tending to the stranger's wounds who hit me and took damage.
I like
What are
him
you-
better.
What are you doing, Berg? You're just looking at him like, Ramus, I'm hurt too, you fuck.
Yeah, Berg's just sitting there trying to like just calm himself down. I mean, he is calmed at this point, but he's just kind of observing the guy, keeping his eye on him.
Okay. All right.
And then, yeah, assessing the damage. And
Yeah, totally. The last two hits probably hurt the most because you weren't raging.
yeah, I wasn't,
So-
like, I actually felt those because I wasn't.
Exactly. Sucker punched you.
What was his name again?
Farsad.
Okay.
Yeah. So Farsad is he's in his mid-40s. He is a man who looks like he's seen a fight or two. A member of the Harissa. He probably has like a tattoo of his like regimental like symbol, like a falcon or a cobra or something tattooed around one arm. He's wearing the red turban and an outfit of the city guard, the Immortals. He bears their sigil, holding his cloak up. He looks like a man who just lost his whole unit. He has the like dusky skin of the sort of native people that live here, the tribe that originally settled the place. He has his hair cut short. As far as you can see, he doesn't have any hair coming out from under his.
He didn't lose his whole unit. There's 3 cowards that ran away.
He lost his unit in spirit or in physicality. Right. Those guys, if they run into Farsad again, they're going to receive a stern sorting too.
Stern sorting too.
Yeah, so he's just like demoralized and sitting on this rock while Ramus tends to him, and he seems to have forgotten the whole kerfuffle about the shield and all that.
Now that we've established that we are not your enemies, what is happening inside the city of Brass?
Chaos. It's madness. The Immortals, we shut the gates. Whether to keep in or out, I cannot say. I've seen so many men die in the past week.
This has been happening for a week?
He nods. It has.
Yeah, you look over at me, and I'm just like, how long were we gone?
No, and I'm just like Kalimata is like, whew, this might not have anything to do with me.
He says there was it started with the fire. There was the mages understand it better than I do. Something magical occurred.
Oh, wait a minute. We've been lost in the desert for
a couple of days.
Never mind. Of course.
A couple of days.
Like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, like about exactly
like
a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
fuck.
says something magical happened in the lower cities. The Immortals are still trying to figure it out. A rend, a rift, something came through. And then warriors. Horrible, enormous, made of solid gold.
I put the
Weapons
jar in front of him and
And
interrupt him.
he like pulls away from it like you're gonna burn him.
And I like shake it. Have you seen this before?
He nods. Yes, a plague of those creatures. They spill out from these giants of metal. But that's not the worst of it. If we had only one enemy to fight, certainly it would be no problem. But men and dwarves have turned against us, allied with creatures like this that spill up from below the city, burning, pillaging, and for no reason, killing innocents, not even military targets.
No flags, no leaders, no captains, no generals.
And he points at the symbol burned into the giant's shoulder. Only that. They serve the tower. And he looks pointedly at Ramus like, we're not friends, but I'm not going to get you.
You keep mentioning the tower. How do you know they're with the tower? Just the symbol.
He nods. And their behavior. Destructors, one and all. An army of chaotic villains acting for no reason except to revel in destruction. If they have a purpose, I cannot discern it. That says the tower to me.
Well, you do have a point.
Fair.
So there's no figurehead, no leader that can be discerned.
He shakes his head. No. Only enemies that seem to seek to usurp the city or destroy it.
Where are the Immortals in all of this?
In their palace, safe as they should be. We defend it. All of the best trained soldiers are there. The rest of us try to keep peace as best we can in times of bloodshed.
How did you end up out here outside of the gates of the city?
We were meant to protect the... And he points back, like, the gate. But the High Command suggested that we foray out of the city to make sure we weren't going to be penned in. There weren't outside invaders. We were on one such foray when we were ambushed by these fools. And he points and he's at the enemies, and he says, we tried to hold our ground, but you stand amidst the results.
You mentioned a ziggurat.
He nods. A step pyramid.
Did it just appear, or was it built?
He laughs. You have been gone from the city a time. Hope to the Arcana you never lay eyes on such a thing. massive and terrible, wrong somehow.
Is that where they're coming from, all the creatures?
He nods. That is what the Magi think. The immortals have reached out to the Sahir for aid, but they're fickle, difficult, inhuman.
We've had our dealings.
And he says, wait. You've spoken with the Sahir. Dealt with them and lived.
Well, I wouldn't say dealt with them.
But
I would say they allowed us to live.
we have to get you in to see the immortals. Any leverage that we can have over the Sahir, anyone who knows how to deal with them, we have to. And he gets up and like pushes you away and like staggers a little bit, like he's still a little unsteady. And he's looking for his sword. Like we have to get you back to the city, to the palace.
Yes.
The immortals must know.
I agree. Take us there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get into the city.
All right. Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Sure. You don't. It's only been a few like minutes since the end of the fight, so no one has rested. You're still basically like running on immediately after that. But he's willing to take you up to the gates and bring you into the city.
Will we have to fight our way to the immortals?
Or
do you have passages, tunnels?
He says all of the city is enemy territory. We can steer clear of the ziggurat, but agents of the tower are everywhere. They could spring out at any time. You cannot know who to trust. I promise you no safety in the city.
Perhaps we should rest here briefly before we go in then. Some of us are injured quite badly.
Berg looks pointedly at the guard. Like when you say
Injured badly.
injured quite badly. He's just, thanks, by the way.
He scowls at you, and he says, I've met enough of your kind to know that in the end, you all fall to rage. I would have been doing the world a favor. Keep your distance.
Choose your next words carefully, fool.
Or what? You'll slay me where I stand? If you want into the city, I'm your only way.
Listen, we can all take down our trousers and measure later. For now, do you have a place that we can go to rest up? Maybe an outpost, anything like that?
He shakes his head. You really don't understand. All safety's gone from the world.
Well, we need to tend our wounds and yours as well. So it would benefit us if we were all 100% before we ventured into this chaos that you mentioned.
He just gestures helplessly, as you will. Tell me when you're ready. And he goes and gathers his sword, puts it on his back, and then spends the short rest, I guess. You want to take a
Yeah,
rest?
we're gonna short
Spends
rest.
that time like brooding and staring nervously at the city and then pacing and muttering to himself and then staring at the city. Cool. So anybody who wants to spend hit dice can do so to recover their health.
7. Sorry.
What do we roll for hit die? It's just
7.
Sure.
7.
I'm saying, what do I
1,
roll
so
for?
it's 8.
Oh,
We're physically
so-
rolling. I usually just click
Yeah.
the thing and
How many? Well,
So
you can roll more
plus
time. You have 7 hit
5,
dice.
13.
They are whatever you normally
Just
roll for your health when you gain a level.
13.
So I believe for you it's a D10.
21, 25.
Let me
I'm healed.
look.
Perfect. Back to 53, yeah.
Okay,
Where's the
Berg.
D10?
You have 7d12, right? Because you're barbarian?
Is it 12s for barbarian?
Yeah.
Let me double check. Yes, it is. So it's a D12 plus 1, and you can do them one at a time until you're satisfied.
Yep. So you can roll d12 7 times and d12 for these guys.
Yeah.
So that's 11.
10. Or
I can keep track of it for you. Okay. So that's 11
Plus 3.
and then 3. Okay.
Plus
God,
another
these
3.
rolls.
Plus another 3. You said?
Yeah, I'm doing badly.
Okay. So you're currently at 18. You're going to be gaining 17 more.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Jesus.
2.
So 19 more.
He can roll up to 7, right?
Up to 7. Yeah.
Okay. There's
There's one.
13.
Okay.
So what total are we at now?
So 11, 14, 17, 19 plus 13, 20, no, 32. 32 plus 18.
So you're up to
I might as
32,
well just
40. You're up to
50. 32 plus 18.
You might as well just use them all.
Yeah, you're up
Use
to
them all.
50,
Yeah,
yep.
use them.
You're up to 50.
I have 2 more, right?
Well,
Yep.
if you use them all, you'll only gain half of them back when you long rest.
So if I don't
that'll
use them-
happen no matter what. if you need to take another short rest, this is the only currency you have. So if you get in another fight and get
So
beat
how many
up,
times has he rolled so far?
that is 5.
So
of
you can
7.
roll. You got 2 more hit dice with
or
which
you
to
can
spend.
or you can take the 50 hit points you're at now. Or you can find out what's behind door number 3.
Or you may never get the short
It's a
rest and you head on to them
It's
for
the
nothing.
zonk.
Exactly. That's you're just gambling on whether or not you even get a chance to short rest.
I would just heal to full.
I'd
I'd
say,
take it now.
Yeah.
Money, big money, no whammies. Okay, so that's 60.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, he's full heal.
So you're at full hit points.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so Berg has recovered all of his hit points. Yeah,
yep,
63.
back up 63.
Okay. So
I arcane recovery to get a 3rd level spell slot back.
okay, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody rests for an hour, and I don't even think you get a chance to be like, "Yo, Farsad, let's go." He comes back and he says, "Enough of this waiting. If the sun doesn't bake my mind, then waiting around will. Let's go." And he points like, "City now."
And I
March."
put my hand on Berg. Lead the way.
He does.
Okay.
So we cross wipe to.
Do we need our horses and our supplies and stuff?
Yeah, like they'll come along.
Okay,
with you.
I didn't know how long the
Yeah.
journey was.
I mean,
Okay.
you'll need them. You could just leave them out here, but like you want to bring them into the
Yeah,
city.
okay.
Rather than like detail, like have minis for them and do all that horse shit, just imagine they're with you, and,
Yep.
and if I think they're threatened, I'll let you know. So you follow Farsad, and we fade from the scene in the desert with the great king stone heads, the like Ozymandias thing, to a crowded group of essentially like refugees. Some people trying to leave the city, some people trying to get in, like getting home. There are caravans and just a crowd of panicked, terrified people. Now, the city is not terminated at the wall, right? It's not just like city, 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 wall, nothing. It's like the city, the wall, technically not part of the city, but in another 100 years, they'll just build another wall around the next part,
Right.
and the city will expand. So there are some buildings out here, none of them stone. There are some wooden buildings closer to the walls. There's tents. It's like a tent city, essentially, and there's a road, but the road is just jammed with pack animals, people trying to get in, chaos. And I think that as you pass through the crowd, people are coming up to Farsad and being like, Harisa, please let me into the city. You have to understand, my wife is in there, please. And he's just like, get away from me. And like just coldly like shoving people aside. You can see that Farsad has been dealing with this long enough that he's just like separated from his empathy for these people. He just sees them as an inconvenience. And so he's just pushing people out of the way. And someone, like a monk maybe, you see he's got the like shaved head, though it's like growing in, and tattered, like filthy robes, throws himself at Farsad's feet, like in the way, and he's like, "Blessed Harisa, please, I have to get back to the temple." And Farsad is like, "Get up and get out of my way." And the monk is like, "Please, please," and, like throws himself on Farsad and won't get out of the way. And you see Farsad just being like reaching for his sword, like, "Fuck this guy."
Yep. I gently now. What is grabbing Farsad?
The monk. The monk has thrown himself on his feet and is like tugging at his robes and being like, "Please, you have to let me in." And Farsad is like, "Move."
And
Okay, fine.
I put my hand on the monk, and I look him in the eyes, and I look up when I look up at Farsad first. Give me 1 second,
And he like kicks the monk out of the way and takes a step back.
please. We're on a very important mission. We need to get into the city to help everyone. Will you be so selfish as to help only yourself? Please let us through.
He holds his hands up and he's got these like stylized like manacles on. They're not like slave bracers. They have they're like iron with like chain wrapped around them, and there's a chain hanging between the two. And he holds his hands up and he says, I must return to the temple. The arcana has come all unglued, and they need every servant loyal to the city within. I must help. Please let the commander know this. Tell him, convince him for me.
I will, but this is not the time to convince him. You have my word that I will convince him to open the gates and let people in.
And Farsad,
when it is safe.
Farsad sees the manacles and he sneers and he says, worshippers of the devil, I think not. They're only in it for themselves. Get that monk out of my way.
Please. And I try and like shuffle him. Please, please.
Okay, yeah, the monk is like, he's not having it. He tries to like throw himself weeping at the guard again. You can try to wrestle him out of the way.
Would
if
you
want
rather
to.
die here on the street? Because he can arrange that for you.
Make a persuade check.
24.
Okay. All right, 24. He puts his hands up. He turns them around from being like, ooh, weepy, helpy hands to being like, you speak the truth of it, sir. A dead monk is of no help to anyone. My life is valuable to me. And he like looks up and he says, I only hoped to reward the commander. And he, you can see he's got like a bag of coins. And he's like, I only hope to reward the commander for his good works in allowing a pious man back into the city. And Farsad is looking at you like, move him or
Yep.
I am. And so you can kind of gesture and like,
Yeah,
okay, buddy.
yes. I'm definitely like, yes, I will make sure your words are heard by him. But for
Okay.
now, we must move.
All right, so you shuffle him off aside, and he just watches the group of you go, and you can see him like making note, like I saw these people, and I saw
Yep.
them go in with Commander Farsad, and the rumor's gonna spread, right? Like word will get out that like they let a group of people in, which they do. They lead you up to the gate, and there are a group of the sort of heavily armed. They have these big tower shields with the symbol of the immortals on it. They're all dressed in red, but instead of wearing the turban and robes, they have like red lacquered armor and like big spears that are pointed forward. And there's a half circle of spears keeping people at bay. And you notice, perhaps ominously, the stones around here are in places stained with blood. This has escalated, and they've pushed it back. And when you approach, Farsad says something to one of the Aharisa, and they like raise the spear and kind of let you pass the barricade and up to the door. Farsad says to the group of you, stay here. And he walks the rest of the distance up the little hill to the people actually at the door and leaves you alone so that you're down here.
Okay.
And it's just the overwhelming, like the din, people shouting and crying and like yelling, and they see you pass through, and they're like, now they're yelling at you, like, you have to help us, like, and now you start getting the like sob stories, but the guards with the spears are keeping them back. They know they're gonna get stabbed if they try to push past. What is the group of you gonna do? You have a minute to like talk amongst yourself without Farsad or anyone else.
We got interrupted when we were talking about Hassan, right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. So I think the second that that guy's finally left us, I looked towards both of you and. Who is this Hassan you mentioned? We've never heard this name.
He works for the tower. We haven't seen him in a very long time. He's used to tell us things like, go here, go there, and we would know what to do, but he's been missing for a long time.
I look around and say very quietly to the two of you, is this his doing? Did he plan this?
If it is, he didn't tell us anything.
It could be.
He did tell us that he was going to be busy for a while, but didn't say what.
Well, is it going against your teacher if we stop this?
This does sound like the tower, but it also doesn't at the same time. Something feels off. Like the symbol's meant to throw us off the track of who's really involved.
It's a very rudimentary version of the tower.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it. I didn't understand it right when I saw it. I saw it immediately on the arm of the ogres.
The tower tends to act more subtly, not so brazen as to have blazoned things on their side.
I thought the tower was just chaos and chaos alone.
The tower believes in destruction to allow change. Destroy the things that are holding change back, whether it be cities, people, organizations.
How long has the city of Brass been around?
A very long time.
I would assume that would be the crown jewel for them if they destroyed the city of Brass.
Very well could be.
When he mentions that it's very crudely drawn symbol, can I make a history check to see if it is a symbol of like an older version of the tower?
Yeah, do it.
So I get
smirk.
Yeah.
You might not have been able to see it there at home, but Adam smirked hard as he could smirk.
I get a +7 to this. 19.
19. Okay. So, as with any religion, there's the mainline, like, civilized version of the worship of each arcana. The kind of doctrinated, like, this is how it is to be done, right? You follow the rituals and you do these things. But these things can get out of context or changed by passage of time, by cultural.
Definitely.
So there are amongst the savage races. There is a form of tower worship that revels in the tower as destructor of all, tower as bringer of the end, a god of fear and terror to be obeyed and to be worshipped, not as the like forest fire that gives birth to the new growth, but as the render of flesh and the cracker of skulls. And that version of the tower's mark as a brand, you've seen it on creatures like that before. So it's like an offshoot expression of the tower's true purpose, bent by, like I said, time, culture, and misinterpretation.
The extremists of the tower.
Yeah. Well,
Not even extremist, but like a weird like cargo cult sort of thing of the tower, where like a tower priest one day explained how the tower worked to some ogres, and the ogres
they
were
were
like,
like, "Yeah,
breaking shit, fuck
Yeah.
yeah. And they went out and they were like, we met this god, the god of breaking shit, and he loves it when we destroy.
Yeah.
And it just built up around this tower.
Jesus.
Speaking of
I was
breaking
like,
shit,
who's coming through?
The tower is
I will
with
attend
us.
to the plant gods. So yeah, that's the jam, right? And so that's that symbol. You recognize it as the bastardized form of the tower's mark.
okay. Yeah, I lose track of the conversation for a second and just break
Just
into whatever you're-
glassy-eyed nerd
Yeah,
face.
and break into whatever you're saying, and that symbol it's of the godly tower. They're very different from what I believe they were being led to work for. It's what the and I look towards Berg. It's what the simpler races worship.
Like ogres, like we saw.
Yes, they could very easily be persuaded.
So it's the tower, but a different branch of the tower.
An older version, a simpler version. It purely means destruction.
So
They don't take out the bigger power. They just take out everything.
that makes sense.
Destruction without purpose.
But someone must be controlling them.
Someone's using these races to
Exactly.
destroy.
Do you know this Hassan you mentioned? Would he be?
It doesn't
Would he
sound-
want to do this?
I don't know. Would Hazan try to convince an orc to destroy stuff for him? I wonder if that would be a thing that he might do.
yeah,
Well, he already had.
Yes, he would.
What happened?
But the thing that makes me go, is the ziggurat. It just appeared, and they're all coming from it. None of these ogres would have that sort of power.
We didn't have a chance to even ask where the ziggurat is.
Just the lower quarter.
Do you think it's in the same place that the stone golem was working? Remember when we went to hide the bodies?
But the lower quarter is pretty big.
So the place where the golem was building that staircase, the House of the Falcon, it's in a richer neighborhood, albeit like kind of on its way out richer neighborhood, like elder families that have sort of dwindled.
But he was working on like a stairway.
He
or
was
something.
making some kind of stair-shaped sculpture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I make an Arcana roll to see if these ziggurats mean anything to me?
Just like a ziggurat generally, yeah. Rock and roll.
Well, more specifically, ziggurats appearing in towns and destroying them. Is that more of a history check to see if that's happened before?
Yeah, that'd be history.
Okay. So it's another +7. 15.
Not to the best of your knowledge, you don't think you've ever heard a story of like a pyramid appearing in the middle of nowhere and causing
I
destruction?
say that.
Berg,
Never seen these ziggurats.
you've found something like this buried under the ground where it gave you a power. What if they were digging and they uncovered it? And it's given them power.
Wait, who is they? Who is digging?
He met something beneath, he told me, something in a crystal or with a tune or something. Ever since then, it's been different for him.
You two have many secrets.
We've
So
been
when you say that, you're like, you do have many secrets. Farsight comes back and he's like, "All right, come on." And you can see that they're like, we get it ready to open the gate. And as you start to drift away, people are shouting like, "Take me with you, please!" And you head up into the city. I think we linger with the crowd for a second, and we see just briefly amidst the chaos, we see a man with a rice farmer's hat and a long pipe, just kind of like tilt his head and like watch after you as you go, and then he kind of gets swallowed up by the crowd. And so you
Son of a bitch.
you enter into the city, and it's much quieter in here. It looks like there was also a fight here. You can see like maybe some broken like arrows and some more bloodstains on the door. Enormous doors are shut. But there's a bunch of people on this side who are like begging with the Aharisa not to get out, but to be like, my family's out there, like please, like. So it's a crowd, but it's smaller and more controlled in here because there is that subtext of like, well, at least I'm on this side of the wall,
Right.
though the city is not so safe anymore.
Right.
And the commander, he says to you, right, well, you're in my custody now. That means you do what I say, and we go where I want. I'm going to take you to the palace. Now, you're not going to see the immortals. They're very busy. But I'm going to turn you over to High Command, and they're going to have some questions about your dealings with the Sahir. No funny business. Don't try to run off. I have my eye on you.
Prisoners, now are we?
It doesn't have to be that way. And he, like, looks at your bracer. But it can.
We prefer not. I think I can speak for all of us.
You're welcome, by the way.
And he just ignores you, and he turns to some of the guards that are nearby, and he's like, you four, you're with me. And the guards, like, salute, grab their spears, and they form up kind of behind the group of you as you start out into the city. So you start making your way towards the train system that'll carry you up into the higher city and to the palace proper. And I think along the way, Farside is quiet. The guards don't say anything. From down here, aside from the massive cloud of black smoke rising from somewhere off in the city, things look like pretty much normal. People are like moving around in the streets. There's animals and people trying to like go about their daily lives. It doesn't look like whatever like war is going on has happened here. But when you get to the train station, when you get to there, it's under like martial law. The big banners of the Aharisa, the fourfold mark of the immortals is laid out to let people know like you don't get on the train unless we say so. And there's a big like line of people who are waiting, and you can see people holding their like citizenship like papers. So travel papers are usually only needed outside of a city. You can get permission to use the court roads, and there's different kinds of permits that will allow you to like leave and go to a different court. They're basically like passports, but everybody has them or should have them for inside the city. They're like identification, and so the Aharisa are just like checking everybody's identification and like talking to people, and it's signs of martial law. There's guards everywhere. The scarlet of the Aharisa are all over the place. So he leads you to this checkpoint, takes you through under his escort, and leads you to a train that is being loaded up. And you see, I think, one of the cars of the train being loaded by a bunch of people that are like in chains, like manacled. They're not chained to each other, but they're like downtrodden. One of them, his arm is cut off at the elbow. It's like just like a bloody stump, and he's got like bandage wrapped around it. And the guards are treating them pretty roughly. They're just like get in and like pushing them into one of these cars. When you get up there,
Do they look like citizens of the?
they just humans and dwarves mostly.
Okay.
You maybe catch like a fire genasi in the group, and the Aharisa are like herding them into this car.
I asked Farsad, what was their crime?
And he looks at this other car that you're headed towards, and he's like, I don't know, why don't you ride with them and ask? Or would you rather? And he gestures at the empty car that you're going to go into.
Well, no need to be impolite. I walk in.
That's what I thought. So you get into this other car as the last of their like criminals are being loaded up. And and then a guard slides the door shut, closes the latch. The deep kind of bone vibrating hum of the magical engine begins. The train lifts off and then slides off towards the upper city. So it's going to kind of like swirl up through the city towards it. And I think part way, you're all sitting on these like wooden brass benches, and you can see out the big glass windows. Once you leave this part of the city and start to curve around up towards the palace, you can see more clearly now the smoke down below and its source. So the lower part of the city, there's a big pie slice of the city of Brass, and you can see there's just fire like ongoing. You can see buildings burning, bright red flame flickering at the sky, And amidst all of it, there is this bowl-shaped crater of just nothing. Like someone took something enormously heavy and just threw it down as hard as they could on the city. And there's like it's like a mile wide, just this crater. And at the bottom of it, there is a golden pyramid-shaped object. And the whole crater is just like desolate. Like the earth is just like dry and there's nothing. There's rubble.
Yeah, I point to it and say, "Is that the ziggurat?"
And he just shakes his head. He's like, "Yes, very astute."
And these came out of it, these beetles. I kind of point to it in my bag.
Yeah, he looks at it and then scowls, and he says, "Don't go flashing that thing around, or I'm gonna have to confiscate it."
We've seen this before. This explosion. You and I, Berg. Do you remember the creature that did this?
Giant creature.
In armor.
Did an armor come out?
He's just like, you can see like the exhaustion, and he looks at you and he says, "You ask too many questions. Leave me alone." And he just stares out the window at the rubble of the city.
What seems saving someone's life means nothing these days.
I can only hope we are rid of him soon.
You've seen this before, he said.
They've seen everything, apparently.
We've seen a lot. We've
Yes.
been together a long time. But we were in
What
the
is
forest, and this creature was there, but spoke a language that no one speaks anymore. We refer to it as Elvish, but we don't really know much about it. And it did this. It made the forest explode. We barely escaped with our lives. I believe Berg almost got destroyed by it.
I nearly died from that blast.
And it left a perfect sphere just like this. And at the center was a little shape like that down there, but much smaller.
Yeah, this one's big. It's like probably, if you had to guess from this distance, like 40 or 50 feet tall in the middle, and then pyramid out from there.
It was a construct. Is that what you're saying? A golem?
Something in armor, but it spoke. It had intellect.
Would I know that to be normal? If a wizard gives a golem
Yeah, I mean, you
intelligence?
can conjure the semblance of life, right? It could be like a familiar. There's magic
Yeah.
powers that allow that.
But I've never heard of one acting on its own, being its own being.
No, I mean, probably not.
Do you have any idea of who caused this first one?
Whatever the creature was, we never saw it again.
So your conversation is interrupted as the train comes curving around a bend. You can see the pyramid. There is a terrible shriek, like loud enough that the four guards, like some of them, like cover their ears. The windows vibrate, and then the train goes like rattles hard as something hits the side of it. You look at the window and you can see the bottom claws of two enormous like talons or something have grabbed onto the side of the car. There's a long, sinuous, like black scaled tail with a stinger on the end of it whipping back and forth. The train comes to a screeching halt and then starts getting lifted up and like bending in the middle. And everybody's like panicking and the guards are like shouting, and Farsad like tips over and he's like shouting at the guards like to do something about it, and it's chaos all of a sudden in the car. You can hear the screams of the prisoners in the car ahead of you, and what does everybody do?
This is happening to our car?
Yeah.
Is there a way to get out of the? Like, is there a platform on either side of the train, or is the train still moving?
The train is still moving.
Train's still going.
It was. It's been grabbed, and now it's like just humming, and you're like over this like track of energy that carries the train.
So there's some sort of creature that's latched onto our train.
Yeah, something is holding on to the train. You can't get a good look at it, but that's something you could do. You could run to the window and like try to peer out.
Yeah. Berg just looks out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you like kind of climb up because the thing's tipped sideways. You climb up the seat and like look, and yeah, there's this enormous creature with that huge, giant, like bat-like wings, a kind of serpentine body. It has two front legs with big grasping claws, and then a sort of like not like a dragon, like somewhere between a bird and a dragon face with a big beak, and then a tuft of like big black feathers coming out from behind its neck, and then like I said, the big whipping tail with the poison-looking spike on the back of it, and it's just like shrieking and like rocking the train back and forth.
How far away is this? This is like on our actual cart where I.
Yes, it is
like,
literally like.
How far away is it from Berg? Where he's at?
You could just like come up to its leg and.
That's
take
what
a swing if
That's
you
what Berg's.
wanted to.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting
Nature
at.
check to see what it is.
Yeah, sure.
Fuck it, don't care what it is. Let's kill it.
Never mind. I don't. I
one.
want everyone to see that.
It is a holy angel come down from heaven to
Yes.
save thee.
Take me with you.
Big flying
Yep.
beast.
There's a nice
While,
one
while
there
he's
for you.
like setting it, I just shout, "General, what is this? Have you seen this creature before?" And I'm like grabbing on the side to try to make sure I'm stable.
He shouts at you, and he's like, "Stay down!" And he shouts at the men like, "Someone get me my!" And like someone passes him a spear.
Berg's
and
already
so
trying to hit
you're,
it.
you're like kind of like standing up, take a swing at him. Okay.
That's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, that's a hit. Sure.
And I always forget every time.
D10
It's a D10.
D10 plus 6 plus 1d6.
D10 plus 6.
plus 1d6.
Psychic damage.
Oh, that's right.
Wait.
Yeah,
plus-
just D10
just
and
this,
D6. Yep, and then you add 6 at the end.
So 12.
12 damage.
Mm-hmm.
12.
Okay.
Oh. Plus, you added the 6 in there?
Yeah, 3,
Okay.
3, 6.
All right.
Yeah, because he's not raging.
I questioned you because you answered and Zeke didn't.
Sometimes I know things.
Okay, all right. So the thing, yeah, like it shrieks in pain, and it like pulls back, and it's like opening a tin can with its claws. Right, the roof rips off this thing,
Jesus.
and the car is full of like wind, hot wind as it beats its wings, and
So it kept its grip.
yeah, well, it just pulled back and like ripped the roof off the thing, so it pulled away as you hit it. So the train, the bottom half of the train car slams back down. The car ahead of you. Let me roll here.
We're pretty high up in the sky, right?
Yes, yeah. The car ahead of you, when it slams back
Levitate.
down, that car breaks from the rail and like falls. You can hear everyone screaming. There's like 40 people in this car, and it breaks off the track and falls. You get yanked forward and then catch on the rail. So now you can see ahead of you because there's no roof on this car. You can see the train. The two cars ahead of you are now hanging over the city.
Holy fuck.
And this car is like jammed up on the rail, and this creature is like shrieking and like waving its tail around, and it looks like it's trying to figure out what to do next because it's pulled the roof off the car.
I'll
So
smack it
we're
again.
stopped.
Oh yeah.
It flies though, so I mean, it's like I'm gonna get it off and then it's gonna go right back. I'm just trying to. What I'm trying to assess, I guess, as Berg is whether or not at this point. So the cars in front of us are like off the rail and they're dangling.
Yes.
So we'd have, in order to keep going, we'd have to separate the connection to that and just let them go.
Yes. Yeah. So you're about 30 feet away from the far end of the car where there is this interlocking like clockwork mechanism of brass that's holding the two cars together, and yeah, that's a thought that occurs to you certainly.
Yeah.
Does that thing? Is it? If I look at it, can I recognize? Can I make an intelligence check to see if that thing beats its wings faster than 10 miles an hour? It's a very specific question.
That's a very specific question. You can make a nature check.
Okay, I can't do the math by looking at the
I'm gonna have to
size and
sacrifice
calculate
some
how big its wingspan is to see how like much.
Okay,
force
that's a
there.
harder check.
I mean, it's a plus. It's plus 4.
I mean,
What's
math,
the nature check?
math falls under Arcana. So if you want to make an Arcana check, it's just the DC will go way up because you're just doing the math based on wingspan and like that stuff.
That's what I would do.
Okay,
Or that's what Solid
it's
would do.
DC 20.
the only way I see is going.
I need a calculator.
You'll be fine. You just need a 13, right?
Yeah, 13 or higher.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
I'm just worried our only like real option is
You
gonna
got
be
this,
to
Sally.
separate the train.
Oh,
What'd I say? Oh.
Fucking 12. Doesn't matter.
Okay, curious now.
Looks good.
Yeah, so you're not sure. You haven't seen this creature before, and it's difficult to tell.
It looks like it's coming back for another attack.
Not yeah, like it's pulled the roof off, and it looks like it's deciding like it's looking at everybody in the car, and it actually seems like something is going on. You need to make an insight check to figure out what it's doing. You made your check
Okay.
to see if you knew what it was. What do you want to do? Because you have this like one action.
I will make the insight check to see if it's
Yeah, you should
scared or
figure
if
out
it's
what it is.
aggressive. Like,
Sure,
all right,
I think Berg would probably be winding up for a second hit on the.
definitely, yeah.
12 plus 7, 19.
Okay. Yeah, so you can make. I'll let Berg make his attacks because you do get your 2 attacks that you normally would. So you
Yeah.
get that second attack, and then I'll tell you what it's going to do, and then it'll probably do it.
Okay.
9.
9 plus 9.
9 plus 9, yeah. 18.
18? Yeah, you hit it.
I know that.
Just give me a hard time now.
Yeah,
18 hit and T10, D6. Yep.
Yeah, do it.
12 plus. So he's not raging. So 12
No.
plus 6. So yeah.
18.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So yeah, this was just like 2 quick swings at its foot, and then it ripped away, and there's blood dripping off of its claw. You realize that it's looking for somebody, and so you see its beady reptilian eyes like scan the crowd, and then it sees Berg,
Shit.
and then lunges in
Oh,
with its claws.
shit!
Lunges in with its claws to grab
I
you.
dodged because of danger sense.
You don't get any danger sense. So he's flying. So
Danger
it
sense?
gets
No danger
two.
sense?
It
I
gets
guess
2
not.
attacks on you with its claws, and if it succeeds, it'll like grapple you basically. So let's see. Plus, what's your armor class?
Yeah,
15.
You can like hide the
15,
claw.
yeah.
Okay, so 2
Yeah.
claw attacks. So it lunges out with its razor sharp claws. Both hit.
Yep.
So you're gonna take. It's a good thing you spent all those.
Glad I healed.
Yeah. You're gonna take each claw does 2d8 plus 4 damage. So 8 plus 10, 17, 26 damage.
Yay.
And it grabs Berg. You see it like whoosh, grab him and then start to fly off. Now it hasn't yet, but that's its plan. It like sinks its claws, one into Berg's like thigh, one into his chest, and then picks him up.
63 minus 28.
Picks him up and starts like beating its wings like it's gonna take off with Berg. What is everybody else gonna do?
What is that, anyways?
30. Oh,
Can you
35.
blind it?
35?
Okay, are we? Should we roll initiative?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. Let's roll initiative. Me and Dan will roll first.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Just gotta see what my dex is. Go ahead.
35.
3.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
That's a 1
Me neither.
or a 3 for Dan.
Are we rolling
3 for
initiative?
Dan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Mine's a 3.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't written anything down yet, so don't forget or whatever your initiative here.
Yeah. 3 and 3 for me and Dan.
11.
Okay. Kalimot, Salihafa, Berg, and Ramus.
Hey, there you go.
13. Let me roll it again.
Okay. So this
So
guy's
it's 14
got
or, yeah, 14.
plus 0. Okay. I got a 7. All right. So Kalimot, what was yours?
11.
Okay. Sully,
3.
Berg,
14.
and Ramus.
3.
Okay.
Jeez.
God, now this is like, do I rage? Or
The
not?
Thinky
I mean,
twins strike again.
Okay, so yeah, let's start with it. Just went, so we'll start with Ramus and Salihafa, and then Berg. You can go. So right now, if it were to drop Berg, this is like kind of your only chance. If it gets to go, it's gonna fly away with Berg. So if you can get him to drop him now, cool. Berg, you can make on your turn. You can make an attempt to escape.
Oh, right, I'm
right?
grappled,
You're
right?
grappled, right? He's got your. You can still attack him and fight and stuff. You're restrained and grappled, so you can't move. But you can make a roll to try to get free, like bend his claws and like whatever.
Can
On
you
your turn,
Can you ready spells?
and you're gonna go before him.
Can you ready spells as a readied action?
Yeah.
I can. Okay.
Yeah.
You do your whatever you're gonna do.
I thought you
and
were
I'm
asking
gonna
me.
make a
I'm
readied
like,
spell.
I don't do spells.
All right.
Tell me about magic stuff, Max.
I am going to cast Banishment on it.
Okay.
It will banish. If it succeeds, it'll banish it into a different plane.
Jesus. Fuck you. All right.
That's kind of a big spell.
That's a
Yeah.
big deal.
This is gonna be the spell that I'm just trying to understand at its core level.
It has to.
Yeah. How did you do that?
Yeah.
It has to make a Charisma saving throw.
Okay.
Charisma.
How charismatic are you,
Well, because
flying
it's
demon beast?
it's about its personality, right? Like its
Yeah.
force of existing.
Force of will or whatever.
Yeah.
Or its,
so-
its will against existing.
So
Makes sense.
banishment is. I'm just gonna check real quick.
Tell me why you shouldn't be banished.
Send
Let's
another
have a
creature within range to
conversation.
another plane of existence. It is within 60 feet of you. If the target is native to the plane of existence you're on, you banish it to a harmless demi-plane. While there, it's incapacitated. It remains there up to 1 minute and then pops back. If it's native to a different plane, it just goes home.
Go home.
So you can banish it for a minute. It'll buy you one minute of it not being around.
10 turns.
Yeah, 10 turns.
Or
So
10 rounds. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so it needs to make a
That's a lot.
charisma save.
Charisma saving
do a lot.
throw.
What's the DC?
16.
All right, I need an 18, a 19, or a 20 to make this work.
Damn.
Oh, really? He's
Yeah,
got
he's not
minus?
very- he's a beast, right?
Yeah.
All right, 18, 19, or 20. Here we go. Come on. 7. That is not the right number that I
By the
needed.
power of the tower, be gone! And just
Yeah.
make it just
The Tower of Power, too sweet to be sorry. I'm so sorry.
So you see the thing. What does it look like when you banish this thing to another dimension?
you just see like a cloud of like lightning appear around the creature, and then it starts to cover it up, and then the cloud starts to shrink, and then it just gone.
Right. Yeah, there's like a last peal of thunder, and then, yeah, the thing is gone. So as long as you retain concentration to keep it out of this universe, it is native to this plane, so it will come back. But hopefully you'll be long gone by then. So you got a minute. What is everybody going to do? Berg, you tumble to the ground.
Yeah, I fall down.
I want to make a perception check to see if we see any other of these creatures flying
So
around.
you come to the edge and take a look?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, make a perception check.
All right.
Is it while he's doing that? Is there any way to get get fucking where we're going on foot? Because the train.
way
no,
up.
you're
seem
only partway
fixable.
there. So that was Ramus. This is Sully. We'll get to your turn.
I have 14.
Okay, I'm gonna just track this. We're not gonna get through 10 turns, but let me.
No
make
one
sure.
on the stream can see this, but imagine we're on that pole.
No, that's what I was
We're
wondering.
dangling
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there's any like way that we could actually walk on the
Okay,
pole.
so what did you get? So
14.
Perception. No, you don't see any other flying like aerial or shit. There's nothing that seems to be on its way.
Okay, well that's my action, I guess, for
Yep.
this round.
Okay, all right. Burke.
Can- Are we still going by
Yeah, let's do
initiative-wise?
initiative because
Okay,
I gotta
okay.
track the timer, like time until the creatures return. Tick,
Oh,
tick,
right.
tick.
Tick, yeah.
I think Berg's just going towards to where he can separate the either by pulling out a thing
Yeah,
or
there's
whatever.
like a pin, and you have to like.
That's what he's
Okay,
doing.
so you move over there. Make an athletics check.
Are there people on those?
There's a lot of people. There's like 50 people between the two cars.
Berg's already done the thought. There's no saving them. There's just not. Unless you can levitate an entire
and
car.
that's fine. Like
Yeah.
you can shout to him, but he's just like he walks over, so it's like easy for you.
He's
He's you're
not-
fast.
Yeah, I mean,
Put your hands on the pin and give it a pull.
he's just about
And the
action
tower
right now.
will love you for that.
make a strength. Well, okay. You say something. And
Yes.
then-
Berg. Don't do that.
There's nothing to be done for them.
We don't have time. I can't keep it away forever. We have to get out of here.
right, sweat beating on Ramus's forehead as he like concentrates to keep
I
the thing
don't want
pinned
to
away.
do this. We need to do this.
How many can you save with your levitation? How many can you save?
Not enough. Pull the goddamn lever.
Berg, yeah. What am I?
All right. So there's a shower of sparks as the pin starts to come loose. Make a strength athletics check.
Okay.
We'll say DC. It's pretty hard. DC 15
Okay.
because it's not meant to be pulled in the middle of a transportation.
What's my plus? Athletics.
Yeah, you're
7, plus
yeah,
7.
Plus 7.
I see, like, Kalimont, you probably just, like, turn and, like...
I turn away.
you put your hand on your
Oh,
head.
yeah,
That should
no
do it.
problem. So there's initially like a little resistance. We see your muscles straining. Then there's a scraping sound as the brass pin slides free because it's being pulled from the other side, right? So it's pretty hard. And then you yank it free, and then just like that, the train jars forward as the two cars ahead of you tumble, and then crash down sideways into a building, and like there's dust gets thrown into the air.
My eyes close when I hear the explosion. I say, Ramus, please pray for them.
I can't right now.
Right? Like I'm trying to keep this monster from
Stop
killing you.
distracting me.
Is
So-
it like quiet again as we're
So
going
it
forward?
tumbles, and then there's a crash, and then suddenly, yeah, like there's no screeching, there's no like there's just kind of the air blowing through this empty car.
Berg mutters to himself while it's.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah, and I think that the commander, I think Farsad looks at you, and like the guards are like, "What just happened?" And like some of them are still looking out, like, "Where'd it go?" And Farsad looks at you because he saw what you did, and I can't decide if he'd be like, "You monster, how dare you," or if he'd be like, "You did what had to be done." So I'm just gonna roll. I'm gonna roll random
I'm just.
because it could go either way for him.
When in
So
doubt,
let's say
roll.
1 to 3, grudging respect. 4, 5, 6, how dare you, you monster.
Okay.
All right. So he sees you do this. Like he sees you with a pin in your hand, and he just looks at you like you had to do that.
Berg
but
just throws the pin out.
he says to you as if like he's already on the path you're going. He says, "There's no way we're getting this train started again. We have to get off. We have to climb down." And he points, and you can see along this rail there is a section where there's like a little platform with a ladder that leads down into the city. He says, "If we can get there, we can climb down. It's a bad district, but we don't have any other choice. We want to get going. What happened to that thing?"
Yeah, I turned to Ramus. How long do we have?
Not long. We need to run now.
Yeah, and he nods, and he's like already like climbing up out of the car and moving along the rail.
Yeah. we'd follow. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, we follow.
All right. I need everybody to make acrobatics checks to stay balanced on this rail as you walk forward. DC is going to be, it's fairly wide. It's wide enough for the train. DC.
So what? If we fail, we just fall and die?
DC 12.
I'm just thinking like we're like.
Yeah, I'm not making that. Oh, yeah, let's go with
Okay.
that side first.
Start on
think
Dan.
Dan-
He's
Dan
Oh,
side.
Dan
Oh,
side.
yeah,
Dan
yeah.
side.
Yep,
Okay.
go
I
ahead.
thought he said
Okay.
the other side.
I have a +2, so 17.
Okay, so
Nailed
you're
it.
fine.
What is the DC?
12.
I'm just gonna cast levitate on myself because I don't.
The levitate, you can't move back and forth, right? Like you can
Oh,
only
I'd
move
have
up
to
and
have someone
down. You don't have to
Push you.
fly.
Could I not pull myself along the wire?
No, you can't. Yeah, there's a very thin area of stone
Alright.
you can walk on.
Couldn't
the
I
rest of
push
it's
him?
got dangerous like lightning.
I could push you.
You could, but you'll get disadvantage on your check because now you're not trying to balance. You're just trying to like keep him moving.
I just
Get
give him
him
a push
+1.
before I go
He
from
just
the
drifts
train.
over, and then he's just floating like too far for anyone to reach until
you're
the
gonna
spell
go to the
wears off.
Yeah. I got a +1. Oh, well, let's do
Standing on a
that.
balloon that's deflating.
Okay.
Okay,
fine.
you're fine.
16.
Okay, which I mean, you're probably gonna be fine, right? Because your acrobatics is so good.
I still make it.
Okay, you got a 3.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. What's DC?
12.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I make 7.
Mm.
I'm distraught.
Yeah.
I'm fucked up about that. About how quickly you just ended 100 fucking lives.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering whether or not to use inspiration.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be me just casting, levitation right off the bat. The second I see him fall.
It's not a
yeah.
reaction though, right?
Yeah, it's gonna take it. Yeah, it's not. It takes time. He's gonna be falling.
Me or him?
He
Well,
already
we'll see what
failed.
happens. But go
Yeah.
ahead. So you want to use inspiration on the roll?
What do you guys think? You can weigh in if you want. I mean, it's my decision, I know, but
What's your dex?
it is 12, so I have only a +1.
So 50-50 almost.
I mean, sure. I say use it.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it.
Mm-hmm.
We already have one person falling.
This seems like an important.
Yeah.
Take that one.
Yeah, no, I want this one. I don't
We
want
get
your.
2 at once. You
Yeah.
have disadvantage. You take the.
You don't want the
lowest
dramatic
one. I hope
rolls.
they're both terrible, just because you said no.
All right.
Saves time.
Yes.
Five,
Wow.
2, and 2.
The 5 isn't even the roll. It was these
Oh.
lovely
Oh.
dice.
Jesus.
Damn.
Wow.
Oh my god, it's so good.
So what happens?
All right, so the 2 of them. Here's what happens: you're walking along the tracks. You're maintaining the spell, but still balancing. What is the order in which you are traveling? Farsad is first.
I think the order we rolled.
Yeah. Okay.
Ramus,
so
'cause he's channeling.
Farsad, Ramus, Salihafa, then the 2 of you, and as you're walking across, there's a point where there's like a shake. Something happens that like maybe the train like jolts forward or something, and the line, there's this like long line of like white glowing like light essentially that travels with the train. It gives off some sparks or some lightning that kind of jumps forth from it, and then there's a shake and the track like tilts slightly, and the 2 of you like slip and fall. You can both make like DC. I'm gonna say DC 18 dexterity saves to try to grab on.
Okay.
Danger sense applies to this,
I was gonna say dangerous.
so you have advantage on this one.
We're doing what?
DC
Dexterity.
18
DC 18
dexterity
dexterity saves. Yeah.
Good luck.
Okay, so you just roll and add your bonus.
Yeah. Are you proficient in dex saves?
Oh, 7. Okay,
Yeah.
so I add 7.
So you need
okay.
an 11 or better.
Okay.
So I'm rolling twice for advantage, right?
Yes, twice and take the best one.
There we go.
Okay.
18.
Nice.
These are going one
Plus
at a time.
25.
Okay. Do what you gotta do, man.
Okay.
And what's your bonus?
It's 1.
+1. Okay, so that's a fail. So you need this one to do it for you.
You need
What was it again?
18. DC 18.
So you need 17 or higher.
Yeah.
17, 18, 19, 20.
That is a 5. Okay. All right.
Well, the second he falls, I cast levitation on him. It's 60 feet range. You let me know if that goes off and actually hits him.
Make a.
Like, because if I'm already over there, I'm watching the 2 of them.
Is it levitation instant?
It's not a reaction.
It's
it
one
takes,
action casting
It takes
time.
6 seconds to cast it.
Yeah.
So I fall 6 seconds.
For 6 seconds.
So hold on.
We're high up, so I mean
Thank
6
God.
seconds.
But it's also 60 feet, so if you fall 10 feet a second, you're still
There's
fine.
a thing about how fast people fall. There's a rate of falling, 77.
Oh.
Thank God for the new rules. Okay, so.
Good job, Xanathar.
The thing is,
Instant karma, you know.
I don't know how we're gonna, because you're just levitating. You're not moving.
No.
So let's
I'm
one
separated.
problem at a time.
I'm
Okay,
separated from you
rate
guys
of
for sure.
falling. It assumes you immediately drop the instant distance, but what if you're at a high altitude, perhaps on the back of a griffin on board of an airship? when you fall from a great height, you instantly descend up to 500 feet. If you're still okay, so anything lower than 500 feet, you just fall. He falls too fast for you to be able. Like you turn, you start canning.
So I just free fall down.
You fall. You land on the roof of. Because like you're up above buildings, right? You're passing over them, so you don't fall all the way to the ground. You fall onto like the roof or the balcony of a nearby building.
Do I still lose the spell?
No, you don't have to finish casting it. So let's figure out how many feet you fall.
I'd love to see
first.
chat right now, just reaction.
I need another D10.
How many feet?
Yeah, we'll see how many feet you fall.
It's what D8 per.
It's D6 for every 10 feet.
Yeah, D6 for 10 feet.
And this
At
is, I'm
least
going to roll
that's what I
2d10
always-
to see how far it is from where you are to the nearest roof. I'm going to say 2d10 times 10 feet. All right. So 9, 10, 11, 12. So you fall 120 feet.
Yeah, so the spell wouldn't even go off.
12d6.
But there's a terminal velocity for falling. Like it maxes out. So let me...
I react and drink the
They
potion.
capped the fall damage, so you couldn't just kill a red dragon by stabbing it, flying.
As Berg's
Cutting
fallen.
its wings off.
Yeah,
or
cutting its wings off.
binding it with rope.
I
or
guess.
whatever, yeah.
I guess
Well,
that's
and
the
also
thought
because
there.
like physics, like there's a certain speed that you will never go faster than because of air drag. And
Oh,
like,
because
how
how
big
much
your
you
body
weigh.
is.
Yeah,
that makes
'cause-
sense.
It's like it's why you can't kill an ant by
Is
dropping.
it possible? I'm sure it's not, because it's like a full action to do a potion while you're doing anything. Just
You
potion
take-
of gaseous form.
Your
No,
toe.
I mean there is. I'm not gonna give it away. There could be something or multiple things you could do. 180.
Potion of
Falling.
helium lungs.
Okay, the maximum is 20 d6. You land prone unless it avoids taking damage.
So he's
Okay.
only doing 12.
It's only 12, so it's well within
12d6.
12d6.
12 d6 falling damage.
So that's
4.
6.
I have
72 damage max.
I have 35
Okay,
HP.
so 5.
And I'm
I
not
have
raging.
all
OP rolls
3 more.
bad.
6, 7, 8. How many more?
What do you need?
9, 10, 11.
Is it possible to rage while I'm falling?
I
I don't,
mean,
it wouldn't have falling damage. It's not unless that's blunt damage.
I would think it's blunt.
falling. This
Can
is
I-
the other thing.
Can I I caught myself, so I'm fucking.
You're in the middle.
There's
You-
no way I can
Yeah,
grab
you
him.
fall and
You're
Berg falls
hanging on and
past
looking
you.
down at Berg.
I'm just saying, Berg
Yeah.
would know that he's falling. Maybe he would rage to.
It may make you angry to
Yeah.
fall. It is bludgeoning. It deals bludgeoning damage.
You need to
yeah,
rage.
then I rage.
Okay.
As in falling.
Normally, I would say you don't have time to rage, but you
You
have.
fell 120
really high
feet.
up.
But you have. Yeah, but right, it's instant in terms
Oh,
of rounds.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you have an ability that is like you rage without thinking, right? Your body kicks in and you rage, right? It's
Yeah,
your. We
I
were
think
just
so.
talking about it. Your
Mindless rage.
feral
Feral
instinct, I think, is the one or something where it basically just kicks in.
Yeah, I think
What's
so.
the range on your heal spells?
You act normally on your first
60.
turn. Yeah, exactly. Enter rage before
That's too
doing
far.
anything else on that turn.
Okay, so if you use up a rage,
could
you just get
levitate
really
you
pissed
halfway.
that you fall,
Maybe.
it will
Give you
half
a
the
rope and
damage,
push you.
and
you
you'll
might
be
be able to
enraged.
climb
when you
down
land
the
if you're still
ladder
conscious.
to get close enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what happens. There's a jolt from the train attempting to restart itself. The two of them fall. Kalimat grabs on. Kalimat, you look behind you as you see Berg like fall backwards. He looks really mad that he's falling. Like just like the rage takes over, and then you bang slam into the domed roof of one of these like taller buildings. Let's see. So you're gonna take half of this. Okay. All right. So
Pretty
this is a
average roll.
5, 10, 15,
20.
20. Yep.
6 plus 4 is 30.
Yeah, 30 there. Okay, 35.
43.
6, 37, 38, 39, 40. Yeah, 41, 42, 43. Okay. So you take half that. So you
So
take
21.
21. Yep.
So you're fine.
Yeah, 21 damage.
That's a good call.
I see like the Arnold
21.
Schwarzenegger in Last Action Hero is like, ting.
At 21. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was half your health, right?
Yeah.
And you guys, you see him hit the roof, break through the roof, just like wood splinters as he crashes down into this building underneath.
Are there any
you.
enemies around I can hit?
Get up, you're covered in splinters, your arms all bent
120
sideways.
feet that's like fucking 12 stories.
It's 12 stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's always been a thing in D&D, the idea of falling being incredibly swingy. That's why it's so many dice.
Yeah.
Because you can fall and just take 20 damage, right? If I rolled all ones, you can
Yeah.
fall 1,000 feet and take 20 damage.
Well, in my head, it was like fall, get past, and then go back to 1 because of racial. Or
Yeah, you would
That.
have been fine. You would.
I would have been fine, but it would have been at 1 HP.
Yeah.
And I don't know where he's
Okay,
putting
So I'm
it.
hanging there,
Okay, so that's been.
and I'm yelling down at Berg!
Okay, so the banishment counter. Hold on, the banishment counter was at 9. Let's say it took you like 2 rounds to get out of there. This whole fracas took like a D4 of rounds. Okay.
2.
So we're down to 5. You got 5 rounds before the beast returns.
Now, is where we're climbing down where he is?
No, he's fallen where you are, and you need to run another like 200 or 300 feet and then climb down there.
Did the train start up again? Like,
No,
it didn't move forward?
tried, but it's just stuck
Okay,
where it
that's
is.
why I thought we went forward for a bit, then it stopped.
No, so you started walking on the track.
So
it
the
tried
beast-
to power up, and then that's what jolted
So the beast
track.
is coming back right where we're
It'll
at.
just no, it'll appear behind you.
Okay,
Well,
behind.
120 feet above you.
Right,
But
yeah.
these guys, if they run for it, it'll be like 300 feet away when it reappears.
Yeah.
Just fall down to me, boys.
Yeah, or they could just jump off. Calumet, you're hanging from the track.
Yep.
Do you want to try to pull yourself up? Somebody else help you?
Oh shit.
It's just like it's a DC 8 athletics check to pull
Yeah.
yourself up.
I will definitely. Well, fucking. That's
Well,
50,
but hold
50
on.
to do
Upper
that.
body strength.
Is it harder? Is it a harder check for him to hang there than it is for him to pull himself up?
No, there's no check for hanging there. I mean, there will be eventually. It'd be like a con save if you're like,
Oh.
I hang here for an hour.
Well, then I wanna cast Mage Hand, which is a cantrip, and toss it a rope, and then have the Mage Hand go out to him so he can grab the rope and we can pull him back to us.
Okay, I mean, he's not that far behind you. Like, you could just turn around and reach down.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought he was.
Yeah.
In
No,
the,
no,
oh,
he's
okay.
he's only like 5 or 10 feet behind you. They just
Gotcha.
got stopped, so you can turn around and go and like.
So yeah, I'm standing there. I'm hanging with one hand. I'm just like, Berg,
Yeah, I
Berg, and then I look up. Help me up, you fuckers.
yeah. I grab one hand and say, Ramus, help me with the other, because I'm not very strong.
Okay.
Okay.
So do I have to roll or?
Yeah. So it's you have advantage now.
Okay.
Because you have help.
Okay.
So DC 8.
I have a -2 to strength, so I rolled a 6.
Oh my fucking god.
Calumet, you also fall. So
Isn't there a thing with acrobatics or something like that you can make like an artful roll or something like that at the end of a fall?
like
Or is that an ability? Is that like a feat?
I
or
know that's a
something?
thing in Pathfinder. I don't know if that's still in D&D.
Okay.
What was
The
the-
idea of like
He failed the DCA.
No, to
slowing
like
your
tuck and
fall.
roll when you fall, like that kind of thing. that
Did
kind
he
of
fall
thing.
too?
yes.
Yeah, he failed a
He tried to pull
DCA
himself
check.
up and he wasn't
No,
strong
those
enough.
guys they were helping me, and something like shifted, let loose, and just.
They just they couldn't hold the weight of you because they're
Yeah,
not
I
very
couldn't.
strong
I
either.
couldn't
Who was-
roll
who was
over
trying to
a
help?
fucking
What's
8.
that?
Who was trying to help? Was it you guys?
Yeah,
We-
one of
I
them.
mean, we successfully
220-siders.
helped, but
Yes, you
he
offered
successfully-
advantage, but he
One of
failed.
them
failed the roll.
long live the king you just now.
No. If you're helping, it's a group fucking effort.
Yeah.
One of those dice fails was yours.
It's true. You're not strong enough to pull him up. Okay, let me just check the DMG, see if there's
Well,
any like
fine.
additional, because you're gonna take what 12d6 damage
I mean,
too.
we just let the,
What's your HP?
we just let the thing.
Oh
fall
God,
off
you're
of them
so
and go.
bummed.
Well, it's after Berg, so
Yeah,
we should be okay.
Well, the
Okay,
funny
no,
thing
there's-
is,
I don't see
this
anything
is
in the
I'm
rules
the
about
last
that.
person this should be happening to. I'm the most
Yeah,
sure-footed.
you are
Exactly.
supposed to
It's
be
just
that,
bad
yeah.
luck for you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Give me all those d6s again. Give them back. I got 5, 6, 7, 8.
You didn't see anything in
9,
there?
10, 11, 12. There's nothing I could find now.
Does the chat say anything, Scott? We can't say.
Chat's just gonna give you horseshit answers. Nope. I think
Yeah,
I feel like
rip.
this.
There's a lot of rips.
How
How
many?
much age?
How many hit points do you have?
Oh, 29. I'm fucked.
Does he? Would he die, or is he just going straight to?
He wouldn't die instantly.
Unless
I would need to
unless he
roll.
rolls double your max HP.
Yeah, if you get up to. Yeah, just
So
to
you could die
58.
Because
58.
the max damage you said was 75, right?
If he rolls more than 58 plus his current HP, he's dead.
That's gonna be impossible.
Oh no,
Near
that
impossible.
58 plus his current HP. Okay.
Okay, I
Then
mean, I
you're
rolled
okay.
pretty good, but
That's a pretty good. You have a
That's
lot of
good,
sixes.
though.
I mean, good. Yeah.
He's got 3 sixes,
All right,
4
10.
sixes.
This was a 6, so 10. Let's see, 20. And that's
Get in there,
4
math man.
Get in
30,
20, 30.
Calculate your death.
Okay, so
41.
So 30. Okay,
got
hold
it.
on. So 30. There's 40. 47 damage.
All right,
Okay,
you're
so
all
not
right.
enough to kill you outright, but so Berg, here's what happens: you're falling, you're enraged, you feel the like roof collapse under your back, the wood shatters, shingles fly everywhere. You crash to the ground. Yeah,
Yeah, duh.
and you land on your back, and you're full of rage, and you get up, and then something else comes crashing down and like lands in front of you with
That's
a wet
like a-
thump, and there's like more dust. And you look around, and you're like in someone's like attic. There's like dusty furniture and like some paintings over in the corner.
Are there any
and-
magical items in that attic, Adam?
Yeah, there's this.
It's just the
magical-
attic of a potion master.
Yeah, you find
and
this
man,
magical bag. So let me roll randomly on the table.
damn it, dude.
And yeah, so you see Kalimat land, and he's just like he could just be dead, and you're full of rage. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What's everybody gonna do?
I mean, Berg would.
We're not. Can we shout to him? I mean,
He's 120. You can yell, but I mean, Berg's in the middle of it, like.
There's no immediate enemies in my.
No,
area,
there's
right?
no. I mean, Kalimat, but he looks dead already.
Right.
The
So then the
second
rage
he
would-
like loses grasp, and
We're too far away, so I grab you, and I'm like, we have to go because
Yeah.
this creature's coming back.
as you're like pulling me, I'm just like, Berg, we'll come down to you or something. We're going this way.
Okay, so that four. That falls
Find
around.
Kalimat. He's somewhere down there.
So you have 4 rounds of running. You are, let's say, like 200 feet. We'll call it a fair 200. So you're 200 feet away from the ladder right now, and you are 1 turn of movement away from the car, the train cars. So you're 60 feet out from there. There's another 200 ahead of you. You have 4 rounds before the thing comes back. How fast do the 2 of you move?
30.
You're both 30?
30.
Okay, so that's 60 around. So 6 times 4, 240. You've got 40 feet to spare. You'll get to the thing, and then 40 feet down the ladder before the thing appears.
Now, when we get to the ladder, can we still see where they fell?
I mean, you can see a roof 200 feet away with a hole in it.
Well, I think as you're dragging me away and say, no, the thing will come for them. We're not going to make it in time. And then I look over Berg and cast Fog Cloud on top
Just
of
over
Berg.
the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So while that's happening, what are I
Go
mean? You
to-
guys haven't even gotten there. We got to figure out
Yeah.
keeping him alive.
Berg would go to stabilize him.
Okay. So you let the rage subside. You have 2 levels of
hopefully that
exhaustion now,
hides
so
him.
your
Yeah.
speed is halved.
Or something.
So Berg staggers, and like Berg, I think that you literally have like pieces of like roofing like joist like just sticking out of you.
Yeah.
Like there's a big chunk of wood where you've like landed on
For
it.
sure, yeah.
You're walking on like a twisted ankle, and you just stagger over, and Kalimat's lying there, kind of on his face. And you want to make a medicine check to stabilize him?
Yeah.
All right, DC 10 to keep him from dying. You'll get to do this potentially 3 times, maybe more.
I have a -2 to medicine.
You can try, man. Okay, didn't work the first time. Kalimat, you got a death save.
Oh God.
Do either of you have like potions on you, or
I have a potion of gaseous form.
cool? You could turn him into a gas. And
Turn
then
him
you
into
can
gas.
blow away.
All right.
Drink this.
Is it just 10 for this?
Is a death save, so yeah, you want 10 or better. Okay,
There's
so
one.
one fail.
1 fail, by the way. There's a 3. Fail. Death save. 1 death save down.
You got to roll 10 or higher
Come
just to
on.
stabilize him, or 20 to get him. Or no, medicine rolls just 10 or higher.
Medicine is just 10.
Yep.
He's got to roll 20 to wake up immediately.
Yeah.
How much?
You got
How
you've
long
got
until they
3.
get there?
To you, there's no way they'll make it to you.
Okay.
in time. It'll just never happen.
Okay.
And the range,
Unless one of them jumped off the rail to land down there, like healing pod
way.
from above.
Okay.
God.
I mean, I could
Stabilize
levitate
me.
you 60 feet out.
Stabilize me.
It'd be hard to like figure out how to you levitate.
That's
me
10.
and Throw me down
-2,
just
right?
enough
Yep.
that I
Okay,
can get there
good.
quick
So you're
enough
fine.
without.
Yes,
Ten.
you're
Fine,
stabilized.
fine.
Okay,
Doesn't matter.
so you
we were thinking about it.
you're like, live, damn you! Like,
You're just trying to punch me. Right?
yeah, he's just like squirting blood, and eventually you get the blood to stop. So without treatment, without any like actual recovery of hit points,
D4 hour.
Yeah, you're unconscious for 2 hours.
I wanna say,
unless someone can give you
To get the
hits.
blood to stop, I'm gonna say Berg concentrates. If you'll allow this, Berg concentrates a bunch to like flame up the arm and
it's
like cauterize the
Awesome.
like his out of his neck or wherever it's coming from.
Yeah. Well, let's make. I mean, you're in a moment of emotional duress. Make a Constitution save.
Okay.
There's this wound, and you can't. You're like. You don't have bandages, so you're like jamming cloth against it,
got
and
a
he just
+4.
won't stop bleeding. And then you get angry, and what's
10.
your total?
10.
10? Okay, yeah, sure. So your hand, we see normally it's like pretty inert, right? It's just like a black like rock thing. But as you're trying to heal him, and as your panic is kind of setting in, we can see that fissures are starting to create in the rocky arm, and like steam is rising off you. And then you just grab his neck, and Kalimat, even like for a moment you're conscious of this like horrible pain, and just like you feel burning and there's sizzling of flesh, and then you pass back out.
And I like you just see a confusion, like what?
Like Berg is strangling you. It's fire right
Yeah,
now.
from your perspective, it must look like I'm like angry strangling you.
drool and like
Big
just, like,
lava hand, smell of my own burning flesh, pain around my throat, and Berg, the cause of all of this. I'm just Why? And
Right.
out I go.
You're gonna wake up later being like, Berg, no.
Yeah.
What happened? Okay, so Berg, you're in this dust-filled, blood-stained, ruined alley or attic, and then the two of you reach the end of the pathway, and there's this metal ladder that leads down.
And I casted fog cloud above that.
Yes, yeah, and if you look up, there's like a cloud of fog.
Yeah.
And the two of you basically have like one like movement action or something before the thing comes back, and you're at the top of the ladder that leads down. Looking at it, it like leads down to another larger platform, and then that platform has a set of stairs, and it goes all the way down to like ground level. So it's like 400 or 500 feet down. You're up on a big concrete, not really concrete, but like a stone.
So we have 6 seconds before it spawns, or it comes out of
Less than
banishment?
that. You both have one action that
And we're
isn't
at
a
the
move
top
action.
of the ladder.
Yeah.
I will cast Minor Illusion of Berg screaming at 30 feet from us, because that was what the thing was tracking at least. So hopefully
Okay.
it'll think that that's Berg. It can make
Sure.
an audio and also
you don't
visual.
need to concentrate on it.
Nope, no
Okay.
concentration. It will need to make a when it sees it, it makes a investigation against my DC.
So you can feel your banishment spell unraveling. The forces that you were using to keep it out of this plane start to come apart. We can maybe see it like flickering into existence above the path.
We've got to go, and I start climbing down the ladder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I cast that and
So
follow right behind
Yeah,
him.
so you stay as Ramus goes to cast the,
Yeah.
the illusion. Okay, so the Berg illusion appears on the track, and
it
then
lasts 1 minute.
And then there's a flickering in the air, and then this thing reappears, beating its wings. It's kind of like sideways, so it like stumbles down onto the track and like lifts its head and like beats its wings once to lift it up. Its big long tail dragging down, and then it looks around because it's like, I gotta get Berg. Where's Berg? And then it sees the illusion.
DC 15.
These things are pretty stupid. So it's got a -3 to its intelligence, so I need a
18.
18
Right.
to do it. Got 16. Close.
Oh, God, I saw those two dice
So
from
it-
here.
Yeah, it kind of looked like an 18
Yeah.
for a
It
sec.
scans and then it sees and it lets out a blood-curdling shriek that you hear down below, and then like dives in. And I mean, you only buy him like a round because the time it takes. This thing moves 80 feet. It's got 80-foot fly speed, so it's gonna take
Jesus.
it. It's like hurling towards it, wings beating, claws getting ready to grab, and you start to climb down and kind of fall out of its sight.
Yeah.
Berg, what are you gonna do?
So we're in an attic.
You're in an attic. There's
Wouldn't-
like dusty shit everywhere.
I'm gonna try to grab, if it can, just grab, grab him and then move like downwards and like hide.
Okay. All right.
Ferris Bueller, you're
Yeah.
my hero.
So you look around, and there's a metal ring on the floor, and so you like Calumet, and then lift up the ring. It slams, and there's a wooden set of stairs that descends into whatever the upper level of this place is.
I just want to bust in like on Family Eating, like,
It's like every action movie ever, right? Where you like they go through
Yeah,
the
yeah.
wall,
Yeah.
and there's people like.
Yeah.
"Hey."
If I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'd be sorry.
Yeah.
knock, knock.
All right, so you want to descend down into the room below?
Just descend down so it's harder
Okay.
for him to track and see.
So
what's
this room that you descend into appears to be like a solarium. There's like glass walls around most of the outside. There are plants growing in here, and there's like a balcony outside. The door is open, and there's like air kind of breezing through. You can hear birds like chirping. There's like cages hanging from the it's like a little indoor garden. Yeah, so the birds are just like twittering at you as you come in.
Yeah, I mean, are we in still technically like combat kind of thing? Is this what we're doing? So
Nope. No, I just want to make sure everybody's like still moving. So you guys are going to be occupied climbing down to the ground level.
Yeah.
So that'll take some time.
I think Berg's is just like hide out here and wait out the bird, like to see if it, hopefully
Okay.
if it comes back, shrieks, gets frustrated, and flies off to try to find where Berg escaped to.
Yeah, that's very much exactly what happens. It
Okay.
flies in on the illusion, snaps at it, bites at it a couple of times, realizes it's not actually Berg, gets mad, huffs, looks around for Berg, and then flies off to go and, I don't know, go wherever the hell.
Because it would have no indication of where.
No,
Berg went.
it didn't see you fall, so it's like,
Yeah.
Berg got away.
And also, you put a
Shit.
fog cloud, so they can't
Yep.
even see like an indent on the thing. They're
Yeah.
just like weird
He's,
fog.
he's real dumb, and you've made it like easy for him to not stick around. So he returns to whatever sent him. He heads off. You see him flying off into the distance.
How do death saves work? Once I'm stabilized, I can take them
You
off?
clear him. Yeah.
You're good now. Yeah, you're living.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know if you just cleared them or
Yeah.
they stay until you wake up again.
That would suck.
Yeah. That would be rough. Okay. All right. So what are the two of you? What are the two? I guess the one of you, Berg. You're just gonna like hide out in here.
I'm
Yeah, I
just
think we're, like,
dreaming of the
resting.
bodyguard, and
yeah. Perfect.
The
All right.
the bird guard.
just carrying me out.
The
He's
Bergie
still
guard.
he's still unconscious,
that
right?
doesn't work.
Yes.
Never mind.
So
I'm
yeah,
out, like, fuck
I'd
yeah.
prop him somewhere like against the wall or like on a table or wherever he can rest without being fucked up when he wakes up, and I'd slump into either a chair or like rest against along the wall and wait for him to wake up.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
2 hours.
Yeah. So it'll be 2 hours. So you just like come in and like slump down there. Okay.
That sounds preferable than wandering
Running around.
negative
wandering,
or two exhaustion
All
with
right.
him
So the
slumped on my shoulder.
the two of you and Commander Farsad eventually reach the bottom of this pillar. And what do you do when you get down there?
We tell him we have to get Berg back. And our other friend. It's very important.
Your friends are dead. You're coming with me.
If you want
I cast prestidigitation on his voice when he says
Berg's
what
met
he's about to say.
directly with us here. If anyone's going to be able to help you, it's him.
I'm not going back for a couple of corpses. Better the two of you. And he looks back and he says, "Give up on him. He's gone."
I've seen him survive things you wouldn't believe. He's alive.
Make a persuade check. And you got help from Sully.
Yeah, you're supposed to yell, man. There's supposed to be thunder, but you just. Anyways.
Here's Berg the Undying.
No, that's a 6.
Advantage.
Oh, advantage. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your bonus?
All right, that's better.
12.
You have a
So
minus.
He's not very
Fuck.
charismatic.
No,
Have
no,
you-
13.
13. Okay.
Yeah, his charisma
So have
sucks.
you met Ramus? So he scowls, and I think you've convinced him, and he says fine, and looks around and he's just like, fine, if you want to go with your friend, like let's do it. So what do you do?
I need you to calculate what building it is and how to get there the quickest. You're the smartest.
I'm like.
Yes, I
already-
said it. Don't rub it in my face.
I'm already doing it. I don't say anything. I'm
Sully
just-
always got an abacus out, and he's just like, bloop, 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 bloop.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The equation's flying past us.
Okay. All right. So you, so you find, you want to try to find the route. So make a, I don't know what kind of check this would be, because you're
Intelligence? Or you said Arcana is math.
Yeah, but this isn't really that. It's not about trajectories and stuff. This is just trying to like parse out the like local area and like where he would have fallen. It's just an intelligence, intelligence check.
A saving throw?
No, it's just the check.
So I just get my intelligence
yeah, you
bonus?
just have your intelligence bonus.
Okay. You got to give me guidance.
Yes, you get guidance.
That's a D4.
And I'm helping you try to figure it out.
Yeah.
As best I can. So you
Okay.
advantage too.
Do I get advantage from his help?
You can't have both guidance and advantage from the same person.
I'd rather
you
take guidance.
Okay, take guidance.
13 plus 4, 17,
17, yeah.
plus 4, 21.
Not bad. Okay. Yeah, so you look around, and it looks like Berg has crash landed in a building that it's like a mansion. It's a multi-tiered, it's all one thing. It's got like a metal gate around the base of it, and yeah, it's just like one building with like some other outbuildings in its grounds, but it looks like locked down.
Okay.
From here. It's
Yeah,
a big iron
I
gate.
point to it and say, General, we need to go there.
And he just gestures like, "Go ahead.
Are you not coming with us?
I'm right behind you."
Very well.
Okay, so you jog off in that direction?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so sometime later, I think you're sitting in this, like, aviary, and there's birds chirping at you and shit. It's been a few minutes. You're exhausted. You're, like, picking splinters out of your
Yeah.
body. You hear footsteps. You hear someone coming from, like, around a corner or something. You just hear, like... And they're not, like, running, but just, like, walking footsteps. They're not making any effort to hide themselves.
Okay.
Just wait.
Berg's just waiting, yeah.
Okay, all right. So before they arrive, the scent of them precedes them. You smell a familiar pipe smoke drift towards you through the air.
Uh-oh.
And and you see, stride around the corner, a man wearing simple peasant's clothes, holding a pipe in one hand. He's got his hat off; it's like hanging behind him.
I don't know what's going on, but I
and
bet
he-
Chad is fucking.
And he's covered from like the neck down on his arms with blue arcane tattoos. And he comes around the corner and is like stroking his goatee, which has gotten quite a lot longer. He's got like long mustaches now. And he He looks at you, and he says, "Where the fuck have you been?"
I could say the same to you.
I'm not here to take care of you. You work for me. You and that cleric. I've been trying to get a message to you for weeks. Where were you? As you can see, things have gone to shit here. I need you.
Berg looks around like at the holes and everything and looks outside. He's like,
I see that.
So he like looks over. And is he alive?
Yes,
Good. Leave him there. Come on.
he comes with me.
What, do you want to drag a corpse around?
He's alive.
Yeah, for now.
He won't die.
He doesn't look very strong. I mean, he's unconscious. We don't have any time or use for the weak.
He's not weak.
Make a persuade check.
Man, I wish you had that
-2.
inspiration still.
technically, I never marked it off the roll.
Just because it's not a race doesn't mean you still have it.
Therefore, it doesn't count.
Big money. Big money.
Okay, all right. 12 is, and what's your bonus? Or you have a penalty of 2, right?
Penalty
You got a 10.
10, yeah, it's a 10.
So
Still not bad for Berg.
Hazan just sighs and like rolls his eyes. He's like, fine, but if he wakes up and causes trouble, we're leaving him in the gutter.
Oh, this is him. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Come on, let's go.
Berg, like, yeah, grabs him.
Throw him up. Okay. All right. So Hazan turns and he says, I've got a key. Here we go. And he takes out a razor, like a long like shaving razor, and he flips it over in his hands a couple of times. And he like whispers something and he kisses it and he sticks it in the air and just like unzips space. He just uses it to cut a hole in space essentially.
They're just dimensional doors.
And he reaches in and he goes and he yanks it open, and you can see on the other side the interior of what looks like a war room. There's like a big table. You see there's like an ogre leaned over on the table, like a big 2-headed ogre, and they're like looking at the map and like pointing at stuff. There's a bunch of other people kind of like in the smoky room, and he points and he's like, "Come on, let's go."
Before yeah, as he says that, he's like,
Zip.
Remus, he's nearby. You'll want him too.
He says, I have agents looking out for the both of you. Someone will find him and bring him to us. It's more important for me to get you to safety right now.
You promise you'll get him?
Yes. Someone will find him.
Very well.
Good. Go.
yeah, and then goes in.
You just climb out through. So he slips the razor back in. He like looks around, steps in, and then closes it behind him. And then the room is just empty. So, the two of you
We show up 30 minutes later.
So the two of you, yeah, I think that's the thing is that like we could do the whole rigmarole of like make a stealth check to get in and avoid the guards or whatever, but it's an abandoned house basically. So you climb the wall and get in and like search the place.
Yeah,
And
let's do
there's-
our Batman investigation
Yeah.
here.
And there's no sign of Berg.
Does it smell like, but the pipe smoke would linger?
It might.
Yeah.
It might.
And
Well-
also maybe the smell of ozone from ripping open the astral plane or
Make
something.
no, both of you make a wisdom saving throw.
He might be able to
All right.
detect like any sort of residual magic depending on how.
Yeah, I
Close.
mean he wouldn't think to just cast detect magic.
True,
probably,
yeah.
but
but-
this is what I'm the way you
Yeah,
said the smoke.
yeah,
would
the
linger.
smoke.
+7, 11.
Okay.
+5.
I mean you
There
would
it is,
have
21.
you'd have advantage on this. So
Okay.
roll a second die.
21 and
Pretty good.
24.
That's good.
So you both notice the very faint lingering of the smell of smoke in the room with the plants in it, but you got advantage because you recognize that particular smell. There's only one other place you've ever smelled it. It's always the same. So Hazan was here, but Berg and Kalimat now no longer are.
yeah, I'm just like, whoever lived here smoked.
I hate
Very
smoke.
odd.
The man I told you before, Hassan. You know that stench? That's him.
How could he be here?
He's a very powerful being, man, creature. I don't know what he is anymore, but
He followed something you didn't know what it was?
he's more powerful than you can imagine. And he claims to work for the tower.
You say that, and I look over at the general. Does he hear that?
No, I don't think so. I think he's in another room.
Okay. I like put my hand over your mouth. Shut up. Don't say that too loud.
You do not shush Remus Krill.
I was like, shh.
I love this buddy cop.
know,
thing.
it's so good.
it's very good.
You do not shush Remus Krill. It's so fucking good.
If he was here, would he?
He could have whisked him away. He's more powerful than you can imagine. He controls powers that you would only dream of. Probably have, knowing you.
Have I heard? Can I make an Arcana check to see if I've heard spells that can do
There's
that?
all kinds of spells that can like teleport you out of places and stuff. Yeah.
I said, teleportation spells exist, but I have no way to track where they would have gone.
Me either, until I do a long rest.
I look around the room. Are there
I'm
beds?
sorry. I have to wait 1d6 hours for this.
Exactly. Pardon me. I need to lie down for 8 hours.
I look around to the room. Are there beds?
No, I mean you're in like an aviary basically.
Oh, okay. Well,
But the house has beds.
Yeah.
But also like it's someone else's house.
we have to convince. He's not going to let us just wait here. We have to convince him to. I don't know. Let us carry out this adventure.
Do you have an offering?
I'm not doing this again. You saw how they responded last time.
What if we said we ask Hassan himself?
You can ask. He is.
I've never tried, but it's worth a shot. He might be a divine.
You have gold.
I have 24.
Well, I'll give you one.
Okay.
And I flip him a coin.
Okay, so you want to try to cast the same spell?
They're
as
sending
before?
up the bat
Yes.
signal.
Yeah.
Trying to
The
ask
Hassan.
Hassan himself where we should go to
Okay.
meet him.
Okay. All right. So you settle down and lay out the things, and you're like, Hassan, answer my prayer.
Is that a ritual?
It's a ritual.
Yeah. So while that's happening, there's some time. So you step into this like smoky room, and yeah, there's a big table and there's a bunch of like warrior types around it, and like the people here are, as with much of the city of Brass, mostly human and dwarf. But there are, like I said, like you see ogres and like some of the like species from below the city that were kind of driven there. And yeah, most of them, like you see a troll. It's got like some gladiator armor on, but he's got the brand of the tower.
Similar to what we saw before,
yeah,
though?
Yeah, pushes past you, and Hassan says, "Stop gawking. Come with me."
He just follows.
Okay. A
Looking
woman
around a little bit, though. Like,
A woman comes up to you. She's wearing like white robes, but the robes are rolled up, and the front of them have like blood on them. She has long black hair that like falls down her back, and she has like a tiara or something on, just like an iron band. And she comes up and she looks at him and she says, "Your friend needs care. Give him to us.
Where will he be?
There is an infirmary." And she looks at Hassan, and Hassan like rolls his eyes, like, "Don't bother explaining to him."
Then he looks at the girl and then looks at Hassan and just nods.
Okay. So nearby, a creature that's with her, like behind her, who looks like if you took an ogre and like blew it up twice its size. So it's just like this enormous kind of dullard-looking guy, and he's wearing, but he's wearing like nobles like servant clothes. And he just reaches out and just like takes Kalimut from you, and like looks at him and looks at you, and he like pets Kalimut's head, like, like it's okay. I'll
Come
take
on,
care."
Lenny, not too hard, bud.
And then he like turns, and the girl goes with him, and they leave.
Okay. Can I make any sort of insight check or whatever to see if that, like what she said, was truthful, or are we past
Sure,
that point?
no, you
or-
can totally make an insight check. Yeah.
All right.
I just like this because it's fun to see how Berg fails.
It's 9.
Okay.
not a-
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell. She seemed like she was being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hazan takes you to another room, and this room is like smaller. It's off to the side. It has a desk, and there's a bunch of papers. There's stacks of books all over the place. There's a wall with a bunch of scrolls in it. The whole place smells like very strongly of that pipe smoke. And he comes in and he sits down and he's like, sit. There's nowhere to sit. There's just like...
Berg stands.
He snaps his fingers and a stool goes and appears out of nowhere. He's like, sit. And he sits down.
Sits.
And he starts like, he takes out a pouch and starts like filling his pipe again. And he says, so, where were you?
Where to begin? I hate wizards. Number one.
He says, funny, you're traveling with a turtle. They love wizards. Where did you meet that one?
Funny, you don't know where we were.
I've been very busy. And then you disappeared. None of the oracles could find you.
You said to occupy, if that's the word.
Yes, you
Our
were on
time.
vacation. I didn't mean for you to leave the universe.
I don't even know where I was. Some wizard's domain.
Well, it's a good thing that I don't have you working intelligence for me. I have things that need to be broken.
Seems like you're doing a fine job of that.
We are trying. Do you have any idea what's going on in the city? And he's like,
No,
Lighting
I
the-
honestly do not.
he says, it is precisely what I told them before. What we have been telling them all along. Something was coming. We had hoped to begin culling the city before they got here, before the corruption began, but now it's too late. Those hidebound devils, they're attached to this place. That's what you get for making immortals the rulers of the biggest city of the world. They don't want to let it go. Immortals are not very good at letting go. And now the city is being invaded. If we had had time in advance to start burning, start destroying these things before they could get here, maybe some of them wouldn't fall into their hands. But now it's too late, and so we are fighting a war, not only against these invaders, but against the immortals themselves, and those allied with them in heaven. It's a mess.
So you are trying to destroy the city.
Well, it sounds bad when you say it that way, but yes, that's what we do. We burn, we destroy, we knock down. The tower is not builders.
And the innocents.
There
Children.
are no innocents, Berg. And besides, that's why we have reincarnation. If someone is innocent, they'll get another shot. That's how the cycle works. The city has to burn. We've been saying this for months. No one listened. And now, this. Chaos. Suffering. Undue suffering.
So, what's the plan?
We have targets being fed to us by the Division of Oracles. We are destroying these targets, one at a time, undermining infrastructure, burning, destroying, cutting away before these invaders can get it. Eventually, we kill the immortals.
Tell me. Something was hunting me. A beast flying. Why?
He gestures. I wanted to get you back here.
That was you.
He nods. Yes. If you hadn't overreacted, your friend wouldn't have been hurt. You would have been safely here with Ramus.
Why not just appear like you did? Or have something that I knew was you?
He shrugs. It seemed the most effective way.
You know, I see something. I destroy it.
Well, all that matters is you're here now, and we can put you back on course.
Which is?
And he looks at it with scattered maps, and he says, well, I've got a list. Let's find something for you to knock down. And then there's like at the door, and the door opens, and we see a creature. It's a genasi of some kind, probably like an air genasi. And he just has like a clerk's outfit and the little like box hat of a clerk, and he's holding like a stack of books. And he leans in and he says, "Sir, we have someone looking for you." And he says, "I'm busy. I can't handle this right now." And he says, "They've made the sacrifice, sir." He's like, "Well, send it back." And he nods. He's like, "Yes, sir," and leaves.
Wait.
Oh, fuck.
And he looks at you. What?
Ramus. That may be him.
I have agents out in the city looking for Ramus. I can't go and answer. These things take energy. I'm not a god, Berg. I have limitations.
Well, now I know that.
He laughs. He says, "You don't want me to be you don't want me to be a god. They're assholes.
So,
Just don't worry about your friends. Let's find you a mission. You feel better when you have something to crush. Come with me." And he stands up and goes to lead you out of the room. So meanwhile, the two of you are finishing your
Yeah.
prayer.
I'm just pacing back and forth in the room, waiting for him to finish his mission. It's just like, this is not going to work.
Please, dear God, work. Please, dear God, work.
Yeah, and so you finish the spell, and then there's the ringing of a bell, and the sacrifice just hasn't been taken. It's just there.
I told you.
Something is wrong with divination right now. That is not good.
I swipe up my gold piece.
This one's mine.
Really?
Well, yes, I'm not going to give you a gold
I don't get
for
anything for
failing to cast a spell.
Using my energy to channel the power of gods. Nothing.
Well, it did nothing. I'd take my gold back.
I just remembered why you have 24 gold.
Yeah, from your
Yeah.
spell. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so it doesn't, 10 minutes pass, it doesn't work. I think Commander Farsad comes back in, and he says, I've searched the whole place. Your friend's not here. We have to go to the palace. Come on.
Is there anything you wish to do before we leave?
I know nothing. I don't know. I feel lost without the gods guiding us.
That's religion.
Don't you start.
So the three of you leave.
Damn.
The three of you leave and head off to
Snap.
to the palace. So you spend the rest of the hour or so that it takes for Kalima to wake up, and you are walking around. He walks you into their war room or whatever, and there's a map of the city, and there are little gold pins set out in places, and he says to you. We're getting kind of a voiceover as he walks through. He's like, they spread like locusts. The ziggurat appeared about a week ago. We couldn't have foreseen it. There was holes in the divination. They evade our sight somehow. And now they've spread through the lower city. Insects, consuming, corrupting. We've been attempting to keep important resources away from them. Burning temples. Strategic retirements of life, returning people to the wheel before they can be captured by these things. The city, the immortals see us as assassins. Our destruction without purpose, but it has purpose. We're culling the city, making sure it doesn't fall into enemy hands. Better a burning ruin than for these creatures to seize something so important. And that's why I need you. I have more targets than I have hammers to smash them down. And you are very good at smashing things, Berg. And we cut to, and so they'll walk around in the pan of the map. It ends with him looking down at the map, and he points to one of these gold pins, and he says, "These creatures have some kind of artifacts. They've been placing them throughout the lower city. I need you to go and, destroy this one. It's keeping us blind, and we need eyes in this place." So, and he gestures. You can wait until your friend wakes up, if you want. Go down to the slums. Find this thing. Break it.
And what of Ramus?
We'll find your Ramus. Relax.
You don't want him to come with?
You don't need him for this. Frankly, I've begun to question his dedication to our cause. There have been omens.
What omens?
About Ramus. His trustworthiness. He's on watch. But I'll find him for you. I know you care about him.
Where is Sonny?
Who?
Oh, you know the turtle, but you don't know him.
And he says, your new companions are irrelevant to me. Fireflies, wisps. If they're useful to you in accomplishing your mission, then fine, you can take them with you. I don't know anything about this turtle. If he's still with Ramus, we'll bring him in as well.
Good.
You're making this so much more difficult. I thought you appreciated our work here, Berg. Go and get your friend, and he points to the map, and take care of this.
Fine.
Good. And he turns, he's just like, you're dismissed, and he turns to start talking to another one of his, like, flunkies. So meanwhile, Kalimot, you wake up, and you, I mean, before you even realize, like, the room, what do we see? We see you wake up somewhere.
No, like, I'm out, and my head is just, like, swimming with visions of falling.
Yeah.
And just,
like,
like,
Berg.
and then waking up and Berg, like, on me. And you ever wake up and you think you're late for a flight? Look around.
So you wake up.
And I'm in a very strange place.
Sure. You don't even get a chance to look around. You wake up and the nightmare continues because suddenly a hand as big as your torso just pushes you down into the bed. And an enormous lumpy face, like peers over and is like, no, move. And like holds you down. And you like can't breathe. He's just pinning you. And you can feel the bed, the cot you're on, like just creaking. Yeah, as he's just like pushing you in. And then you hear a woman's voice be like, gentle Gorm. And he's like, Gorm, and like pulls his hand up and like looks at it like, did I get any on me?
Oh, okay.
And then he looks down at you and he shakes his head and he's like, sorry.
And you're forgiven.
And so this girl, she's like 16 probably. She looks like a priestess or like a temple like nun or something.
Okay.
She looks at you and she says, "Are you all right? How are you feeling?"
How am I feeling?
Well, you would have 1 hit point, but they cast a healing spell on you, so you wake up with 1 plus 14, 15, so you have 16 hit points.
Okay.
But you're sore. You fell off a tower essentially and smashed through a roof.
Yep.
So you know you're. But she says.
Okay. Well. I feel all right. I fell with somebody. Is that person I fell with here? Big orc-looking fellow.
Yes, Hazan's charge. He is around.
Hazan?
She nods.
I've heard this name.
It's a fairly common name.
But I've heard this name in relation to my friend.
She says, Hazan is an agent of the tower, a high-ranking member of the priesthood.
Can you take me to him?
She puts her hands up. She's like, you're not going anywhere. You've been badly injured. I can request he come and speak with you, but he's very, very busy.
Is my friend Berg, is he, the orc, is he all right? Is he somewhere?
I'm sure he's fine.
Okay. Was he walking? Did you see him?
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't remember much. I remember him, well, it's not important.
Most people in your condition would be more concerned with themselves and less concerned with someone as hearty as your friend.
Well, apparently you and I have different definitions of the word friend.
She laughs, and she says, not particularly attached to him?
I'm sorry?
She just says, like, I mean, you can leave. You're not a prisoner.
Right.
Berg has his mission. You can go if you wish, once you recover.
Well, yes, I would very much like to speak to him. And I would also very much like to recover. So can you ask him to come attend me?
And I think Berg, you walk in at this point.
Yeah.
You've been coming to look for him. So she doesn't see, but behind you, you see. So you're in kind of like she said, like an infirmary. You're in a temple, like place of healing.
Okay.
And there are people like lying in beds like around you, and then you see Berg come in.
Berg! Oh my God!
Yeah. So you start to get up, and then Gorm puts his hand on you, like, no, stay.
Okay.
Shush, and like rubs your face.
Yeah.
Don't move. Yeah. And then Berg, you come up.
Sally, you're right.
Golly, but yes.
Damn.
Just fine.
He got knocked on the head a couple of times. He'll be all right.
I fell into a building.
Apparently I did as well, but you seem to have fared much better than I did. Where are we?
I don't really know.
The priestess says, you are in the house at the end of all, a sacred place to the tower.
Did that make sense to you?
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
neither of you have ever been there.
All right.
I mean, you can make a history check on the roll if you want to see
Oh, sure.
if it's familiar to you.
The house at the end of everything.
The house at the end of all.
Okay. History check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or religion. Either one's good.
16.
Okay. Yeah, the name sounds familiar. It's the biggest temple to the tower in the city.
It's the temple.
Yeah, it's like
Okay,
the
so it's not
main-
like the inn at the end of the world.
Yeah,
like
this
it's not
is
like outside of
this is
time.
like a physical place.
Okay.
It's in a part of the city of Brass, like in the Temple District.
Okay.
And people don't really go there because it's like kind of a bad omen, right? Like
Well, it's a tower, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've measured such like it has a courtyard wide enough that no other building will ever fall under the shadow as the shadow moves around the courtyard.
Okay.
So like
sure.
it's a bad omen. You don't go there. People
Okay.
only the most like desperate or people that like want to like have someone assassinated or have something blown up or like people who need to hire the services of people who end things. Sure. Yeah. So however you feel about being there is up to you.
Well, I know that Berg's a servant of the tower.
Yeah.
This has been reiterated, and also Ramos. And so I feel like this place is probably safe because if he's up and walking around, which with welcomed, then I feel like I'm okay. So, Berg, Hassan's name was mentioned. Where is this person, and is he directly responsible for what's happening right now?
Sort of. Not gray areas.
Would I? Okay, what's his name? More Grom.
Gorm.
Gorb.
Gorm. Yeah.
Gorm.
The big guy. Yeah.
So I look at Gorm. Does he have one of the things, a symbol?
Not that you can see, but he's also like more dressed than most of the
Okay.
giant types that you've seen.
Okay. I was just wondering if I would notice that. If he had whatever on him.
Yeah.
But
We're waiting.
waiting for what?
Ramos and the total.
Well, we have to go find them then.
No.
No?
We stay here. Wait for them.
You were explicitly ordered to go and do the thing and not to wait for Ramus. He was like, "I'll find him." Like you can disobey him if you want, but Hazan was like, "Go do the thing, and I'll find your dumb friend."
Well, Berg's waiting because he's
Okay.
not in no shape to
Yeah.
do anything right now.
That's
So
fine.
he's just waiting.
Are you all right, by the way? You fell quite a ways. I almost died. Did you
What?
save me?
Yes.
I had a terrible nightmare where I woke up and you were choking me.
You were bleeding. I needed to stop bleeding.
And Berg just like raises his arm.
Yeah, and you can still feel like when you get burned, like it lasts a long time.
And it probably stinks.
Yeah.
Like, that's what that is.
You would have died.
Well, there's another fucking person I have to owe. Wonderful. Well, I'm not going anywhere for the time being because I think most of my bones are probably broken. So I don't know what you plan to do, but I'm going to rest while the resting's good because it looks like, well, if they want me to stay here, that gentleman there will probably make me stay.
We have a task, but I cannot do it right now without you or without Ramos and Sally.
Well, then, I offer him the bed next to me.
Yeah, Berg just like sits
Flop
back,
down.
just flops down.
Okay, cool. All right. So the two of you, you're going to head to the Immortals Palace.
Yeah, we're following the general,
Okay,
the
yeah.
captain,
So the commander,
whichever one it was.
insert rank here.
Yeah.
So Commander Farsad takes you to the Palace of the Immortals. Now, the Palace of the Immortals, as you would imagine, is this. It's the biggest structure in the city. It's the heart of the city. It's been ruled by the same four people for millennia untold. It is both the seat of their curse and the glory of their power. And built around it is the Crimson Fortress of the Aharisa. They protect it, and then inside is this like ivory and gold, like jeweled, fucking enormous palace where they live. So it's the seat of government for the city, and it's never fallen to invaders. It's never like no one's ever been assassinated. It's this perfect impregnable fortress.
Right.
And so you are brought here, and under any other circumstances, it would be the kind of thing that would be like an honor, a grave honor to be able to visit it. But you are ushered through with security, a compliment, as you enter, because they basically just like they don't trust you, and you're being watched by the commander, and some other guards follow in, and they bring you to a room within the fortress. You don't actually get to go to the palace. They bring you into a room in the fortress. It's like a plain stone room. There's a wooden table and some benches, and the commander points at the bench and he's like, "Sit."
I look over at the bench. Okay.
Okay.
Sit down.
So you go over and sit. Okay.
Okay.
And he says, "Stay here," and then he leaves, and you hear the door clunk, and then a bar shut on the other side.
Yeah, I just stand back up.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
All right, so you're basically in a cell. It's a big stone cell. There's a window high up, but it's got bars.
Okay.
Well,
I think we are being held prisoner.
looks that way. We've spoken with these immortals, or at least
I've never
I
seen
have.
them.
me and Berg and Kali all saw them when we first arrived here.
Why would they speak to you, though? They're very important.
I
What
just-
do
I
they
just
say
look
to
at-
you?
I just look at you when you say that.
Well, the others beside you are unimportant.
It was so long ago. They told us what would happen and told us to not trust one of the Sahir. We went and spoke with her.
What do they say would happen?
I sit there and try to think back on that moment.
I believe the warning was that the tower would demand something of you, and not to listen, for the sake of the city.
Okay. Yeah. 5 or 10 seconds go by. They told us the tower would ask something of us, but also ask us not to listen to them.
Well, that's just dumb. The
Well,
tower
this-
asks you obey.
This is what the immortals ask. I didn't take too much of it to mean anything, and Berg didn't mention anything of it, but I don't know what it means still, but I would assume they're going to recognize us, or me. They said they knew of us in their city and been following our actions. They said they knew of you as well.
Well, they're very powerful. I'm sure they have great oracles and divination magic. They probably know everything in the city.
By the way, that spell you cast, what was that? To get rid of the... I do that, because I don't know what to call it.
Oh, do you know what that was? I don't know what
I've never seen...
thinking wyvern, but it didn't look like
Have
one.
I ever seen anything like that before?
Can you make a nature check?
Okay. I think I have a 4 in this. No, it's a bad roll.
Yeah, you could both agree that it was like wyvernesque, but like not quite like the feathers and like something.
I've never seen anything like that before. But what did you do to it? It was gone for...
I prayed for the tower to banish it from this realm.
You just asked?
You don't ask, you give of yourself
So what did you give?
for my faith and service.
So if I just blindly believe and ask for things, I will get it.
No, you have to truly believe. And you have to sacrifice and serve. And then the tower is grateful enough to give you a favor in exchange for your service.
They just give this to anyone who does this for this
Only
long?
those who serve well. Not everyone, very few can accomplish the things that even I can do.
How does one serve well?
Very carefully.
So make a religion check. Let's see if like the concept of this like gets through to you at all.
I have
And
a +7 in religion.
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
11.
It's an 11.
No, so I think what happens is we fade out, like we pull back as the two of you are like arguing about religion, like how does this work? I don't understand. And you're like, listen, you just have to pray, but it has to be different than that. And like we hear the two of you kind of like bickering about magic as we pull back through the barred window. We see the scarlet or the crimson walls of the keep, and then the spires of the palace, and we slowly like pull back and fade out. And at that, we will take our second break.
Cool.
So we'll be back right after the break. It's a little bit longer, so stick around, hang out. We're going to go get something to eat, and we will come back, and we will continue with today's live episode of Court of Swords. Don't go anywhere.